Coming to you live from my in-laws' basement. It's Rob Has the Podcast. And now here's the guy who has a ton of foundation covering up all of my hickeys tonight. Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a on-the-road edition of Rob Has a Podcast. And I am traveling these next couple of days, but that's not going to stop us from having a fantastic show tonight because we have what a dynamic set of guests here tonight to talk about everything going on in the Big Brother house, and they know firsthand because they were there, and OTEV knows about them too. There are bread and butter. Here they are. Audrey and Clay are here. Audrey and Clay, how are you?
Good. Coming to you live from my mom's basement.
Wow. Wow. So many mom's basements this season on Big Brother.
That's where it's at. We're transitioning back into ancient culture.
Yes, great. And so for those of you guys listening on the podcast version, so Audrey is at her house and she has Clay there with him. And Clay, you're visiting Audrey? You're on vacation?
No, I was actually forced here. Definitely not here by choice. I'm kind of sketched out. I'm in her basement, and I know her feelings towards me. So if y'all don't hear from me in 24 hours, I'm face down in the ditch somewhere.
Oh no, Audrey, that's not likely to happen, right?
No, I am totally not pointing a gun at him under this table at all.
Yeah.
I would never do that. I was not Dexter Morgan. Remember, we all saw that.
Okay. Clay, if at any point in the podcast you need us to call 911, blink 4 times in a row, and we'll dispatch somebody out there. All right, and also with us tonight to talk about everything from the live feeds, our Wednesday night live feed correspondent, Alex Kidwell. Alex, how are you doing?
Yes, how's it going? It's an exciting night. Empirical evidence strikes back.
Yes, we're looking for lots of empirical evidence, and can't wait to hear.
I got lots of empirical evidence up my sleeve.
Great. All right, well, this is going to be a fun show tonight. Of course, then tomorrow night we'll be live with Ian Terry, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:15 p.m. Pacific, after the live eviction of either Becky or Johnny Mack on Rob Has a Podcast. Of course, we are live here on robhasawebsite.com. We're taking your questions in our chat room, on Twitter with hashtag RHAP, and then also on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. All right, so let's talk now. You guys, when you were in the house, weren't on the best of terms towards the end. Now, in terms of after the show, how did this friendship rekindle?
Well, honestly, it's been a little awkward. Like, right when we got in the car, we were like, I don't know if we should tell each
No,
other.
it hasn't been awkward at all. I think, was it me that reached out?
Yeah, it was, come on. Of course.
Yeah, of course, I reached out just to kind of say, hey, look, the game's over with. What we had in the house was a true friendship. It was genuine. And, I really value our friendship, and I didn't want this game to come between us. And she had said back that she really wanted to make sure that it was a genuine friendship. And as you can see, I'm in Atlanta right now, so I would say so. I'd say that it is.
Yeah, and, I really felt bad for Clay because I didn't think he actually had many friends in real life. So I was like, okay, I got my pride and just give him.
That was very nice. Now, Clay, we last spoke when we did the exit interview 2 weeks ago. Since then, Shelley has gone out of the house, but she still has a chance to get back in. What was your take on how things ended up going for Shelley last week when she was up on the block against Vanessa?
It was kind of unfortunate, but again, if the house wants to believe Vanessa, then that's kind of their own fault. I think she's playing a really good game, and honestly, if her staying last week, to me, you know what, as of now, if I had to pick a winner that is most deserving, it would be Vanessa, because she's done a lot to stay in that game. The fact that she flipped the house when it was almost a done deal that she was going home, that was amazing. So I can't really say much about that.
No hard feelings for Vanessa that she got Shelley evicted and she was such a close ally of you guys?
No hard feelings. Because
all right, Audrey, any hard feelings about Vanessa turning on Shelley then?
I gotta give it to her. I gotta give credit where it's due, and I think a little birdie tried to warn you about Vanessa.
Yes, was Audrey the girl who cried wolf that she told so many different stories in the house, and when she finally told you guys the truth that nobody believed her?
Right, she cried. That's exactly what I was saying. She cried wolf. So when she was finally telling the truth, it was like, Audrey.
Where's the empirical evidence?
Audrey, you're crazy. But no, I did tell her, I admitted to Audrey that Vanessa she was so good at making you believe her, and she actually was the wedge that came between Shelley, me, and Audrey. So she kind of came in and got on our good side as far as mine and Shelley's, and drove me and Shelley from Audrey, and that was kind of the deciding factor in Audrey going home.
Audrey, tonight, Vanessa was described as Audrey 2, and I heard on Twitter, actually, Audrey 2 was a plant that somebody once had. But in terms of Vanessa being Audrey 2, do you think, is that a compliment where you sit?
Well, Vanessa in her real life is at a way better place than I am, so I'll take that as a freaking compliment.
Good.
I mean, she's getting away with pretty much whatever she wants, so don't hate the player, hate the game. Being emotional, that's a strategy. It is. It's a way to manipulate people. And so even though she might be acting a little crazy, it's working for her because the twins are too scared to put her up because they're just scared of confrontation, and she's a confrontational beast.
So in terms of Vanessa's game and how emotional she's been throughout the course of the season, we don't see her a lot in the diary room, if at all, talking about what she's doing is manipulation. And it's been a question that we've had of does Vanessa know that she is being manipulative when she's being manipulative? You guys were in the house with her. Now you've had a chance to see her on the show. Do you guys feel like, is she fully aware of what she's doing at all times, or does she have a self-defense mechanism that's been effective for her throughout this game?
I think Vanessa is really intelligent, highly intelligent. When she talks, you listen, and she'll tell these lies that she believes herself. So the way that she tells these stories and these lies, I think that she really believes them. And when you tell a story that you believe, other people believe it. So when she talks, like I said, you can't help but really listen to what she says and actually believe her.
I mean, there is kind of like an infectious attitude in the house where when you're in there for so long, you do kind of start to believe your own bullshit. But I think that she's calculated. Like, I think her being a victim of things, turning herself into the victim of the situation, I think that that's calculated. I think it's highly dramatic, but I think that she knows. I think she knows what she's doing. I don't think it's completely like delusional.
I think she's emotional and a ticking time bomb.
So if she knows what she's doing, do you feel like, is it Big Brother that's not showing us what she's doing in the diary room, or do you feel like this is the sort of thing where she is trying to keep, like, save face outside of the house and doesn't want it to maybe affect her poker player image negatively, so she's not copping to some of the manipulation she's doing in the house?
I don't really think her emotional outbreaks are calculated. I think her game is very calculated, but when she has these random emotional outbursts, that to me, I think, is her really reacting to being in the Big Brother house and the stress and the paranoia coming on her. As far as the emotional outburst, I think her game is very strategic, very calculated. Everything she does, everything she says is for a reason. It's proven in the beginning of the season, she wasn't really as emotional as she is now, and the more the season goes on, the more the emotional wear and tear takes is in effect, because all this paranoia, all this stress, it becomes more and more every day, and these emotional outbursts are becoming more prevalent. So I think the emotional outbursts aren't really calculated, but again, her game is very strategic.
And Audrey, do you agree with that?
I mean, I think that her emotion, I feel like it's like 30% real. I think that she does get emotional.
Are you setting us up for another round of Is It Real? Is this real?
Yeah, let's see that.
Vanessa wakes up in the morning and she asks herself, is her
Is it
emotions real?
Okay, yeah, cut that.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're like 30% really real.
I say 70% real.
No, but Audrey, isn't that a weapon that you had in the house as well? Like, for instance, like when it was getting towards the end and you turned into your alter ego, the blanket. I mean, how much of that was a strategic sort of like you want people to feel a certain way versus just you trying to deal with what was going on in the house?
When I went in this house, I said I was going to give no fucks. Like, I was not going to worry about the way I was coming across on television, or I would have maybe approached things a little bit differently. I don't care if I make other people feel uncomfortable. Like, it's not like Survivor, where you're in the elements, and if you're suffering, everyone else suffers with you. So if I have to do something and make people feel weird about it or try to seek empathy, I'm playing the game. But I will say, like, towards the end, like that last day, yeah, I did kind of hit rock bottom, right?
Okay. I mean, how hard is that for us who are on the outside to understand what that emotional part of the game is like?
It's impossible to know unless you're in it. Like, you are in a psychological incubator. Like, you constantly have stress put on you. You can't, like, you have to exist with people that you know don't like you, that you know are lying to you, that you know are talking shit about you. It's just a lose-lose situation unless you are not on the receiving end. And it feels like crap.
Is it more the people or the cameras, or is it both?
Honestly, the cameras, I mean...
You forget.
Yeah, day two, I was scared because I didn't realize the cameras were on us. And there's, hundreds of cameras, and the fact that I'm forgetting they're on you, I'm like, okay, that's bad. I might need to, like, be aware more. So it really wasn't the cameras. It's more like what she said. There's people you don't like. There's people that are lying to you, but also you don't know who's lying to you.
Like, I would walk in Becky's direction, and then the train would take off on a completely opposite way. And, like, on a human level, it's like, wait, like, I'm not fucking an Ebola victim. Like, why are you walking away from me? I'm just walking to the kitchen to get some fucking chocolate milk.
Yeah. Because that's definitely a thing that happens when you're marked for eviction, that people just don't want to be seen talking with you because then you could be next.
Very true.
Yeah, no, from what I've heard now being out, there was a buddy system that was created about how no one could be alone with Audrey, because if they were, they would probably be manipulated.
Because they would. It would be a fact. She's good at what she does. She can talk. She would turn people against everyone else. But
well, no.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what's going on in the house now. And we have tonight, this week, we have Liz as the HOH. She nominates Becky and Johnny Mack for eviction. The veto is not used. Those are going to be the nominations. One of them goes home on Thursday night. It really seems like here we are in the 8th, 9th week of the show, and the power trio in the house is Austin and the twins. Clay, they were part of the Sixth Sense with you. Could you ever imagine a scenario where this would be the dominant force in the house right now?
Honestly, never. At all. They were honestly there for votes. The whole plan in sticking with them was Julia's coming in. That's an extra vote. They don't know the game they're playing. They're there just to be there. That's 3 votes for us. This game is about numbers at the beginning. That's really why we align with them. And honestly, I think there's still game plan is in effect. I think Liz kind of lucked into winning another HOH. I give her credit. She did win it. She won POV as well. So believe me, I give her credit. However, I think there are way better players in that house as far as them 3.
Okay.
I feel like I'm just shocked by everything because, now the HOH room is converted into the engine room, and Austin is up there checking Liz's oil, buttering her up, and I'm here in my mom's basement. And when I first went in the house, and I was in there for 4 weeks, I'd never fucking ever expected in a million years that this was going to happen.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened. Is this real? Is this really real? Austin, the Oz twins. It's happening.
I keep hoping that I'm actually in just some coma because, like, he hit me too hard with a pool stick, and I'm just waiting for them to revive me and bring me back. But unfortunately, yes, this is our reality.
Okay.
Well, like Austin and the twins, I think, and I just told her earlier that I guess if you want to put a strategy on their game, it's really just floating to power every week and making sure they're safe as far as saying what they got to say, saying that their numbers, they'll vote whatever they want to vote. And people, that's very enticing. You're like, wow, this is 3 people. Right now, that's it could be almost half the house for votes. So people are going to go with that. And at first, it was just a numbers game. Now it's gotten down to they're 3 people. That's a strong. That's really strong right now. So no one wants to break that up. They don't want to be the first person to break that up because they're all 3 going to go to jury if they don't make final 2. That's 3 potential votes in jury for that person who starts to split them up. So they're kind of worried.
Do you think that they could run the table here? Could that threesome be the final 3?
No. I don't think they have. I don't think they'll win HOH enough times to run the table. I think if there's another luck HOH, maybe one of them will luck into it. But as far as running the table, I don't see that happen.
Rob, I had a dream.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
I had a dream that Liz won,
Oh my gosh.
and I hope that it doesn't come true.
How'd you know it was Liz and not Julia? Jenna Hickey?
No, because
Yeah.
Austin was like in her shadow. That's how you can tell the difference.
We talked about this a lot. We do our weekly feedback show, and we got a lot of voicemail from people about the threat that the twins and Austin pose in the house, and nobody seems to be worried about them. Clay, why is nobody seeming like they want to make them the target?
That's the thing, because they're not a threat. They don't win competitions. They're not going to win competitions.
But they've won. Liz has won 2 HOHs now.
Yeah, now Liz has won 2
And
HOs and
POVs.
POV. I think Liz's could be a threat. If she was a single player, she would be a big threat in this game. Again, no one wants to make that first move to split them up and to go after them. Everybody's scared to go after them. So I don't know why people aren't targeting them, because it's going to be one of them in the final 2. It's looking like it.
I can't believe it. It really is crazy. So, do you think can Vanessa rebound from this? It seems like that she was with them. Obviously, they're the 4 people left from the Sixth Sense. So she seems like she's on the outs based on what Johnny Mack said. Clay, I know that you were very tight with Johnny Mack in the house, but you were also part of the Sixth Sense. Who were you rooting for in the Johnny Mack versus Vanessa confrontation?
Oh, Johnny Mack, 100%. I kind of knew I was going home that day, and I wanted to protect Johnny Mack as far as the whole blow Vanessa did. It was uncalled for. It was a huge misunderstanding, and I was just like, Johnny, I took the blame for whatever was said, and just so Johnny, it wouldn't hurt his game. Vanessa, the more and more the game went on those last couple weeks, I started realizing Vanessa was untrustworthy and really didn't have our backs as much as we thought she did, or as much as we had her backs. So that's when I was kind of like, I kind of got closer to Johnny Mack because I knew Johnny Mack has never did me wrong. And honestly, I wish I would have done that a lot sooner.
Audrey, what's your take on Johnny Mack this season? He's been such a polarizing person because he's been so popular with the fans, and he's so funny in the diary room, especially when Clay is asking him to go up on the block. People really love that. But he's a guy who really has not had a lot of game in terms of the moves that he's been making this season. What do you think of Johnny Mack?
I feel like he is starting to transition. This little thing that he has going on, he looks like an evil leprechaun.
Evil leprechaun.
Yeah. And yeah, he kind of does.
Has anybody seen my pot of gold? I know I left it on the other side of the radio.
I'm kind of rooting for Vanessa between the 2 of them, just because she's been more of an aggressive player. And from the outside, yeah, she's like bouncing all over the walls, but she's more entertaining. Like,
you like the gamer.
Flaccid. He's like flaccid in the house. Like, he's a little bit like Olympic. Like, he's not that fun.
Oh no.
Big song fun.
Oh no, Johnny Mack.
So, like, personally,
No.
like, I want to back, but game-wise, who's made bigger moves? Of course, Vanessa, who maybe deserves it more, Vanessa, but I would love to see Johnny Mack win just because, more of a personal relationship with them.
I want to see Johnny Mack confront Vanessa the way he is in his DRs.
Yeah.
Like, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And, like, it's entertaining seeing him approach her, like, very kind of awkwardly, because it's so awkward, and that's funny, but I want to see his attitude that he expresses in his DRs like he did tonight, face to face with her.
Yeah, but even still tonight, he's having this confrontation with Vanessa, and he's like, can I just go take a nap now? like that's not really how you want to see that confrontation end with, hey, can I just take a nap? Right?
Well,
You want to light a fire under him.
Be a little more dominant, a little more make moves for himself, and not kind of play catch up from the get-go. Just him make the moves, him say how he feels, him say I'm targeting you, I'm coming after you, this is that. I think that would be, a kind of a bold move for him, and that would be good for his game.
He took enough fucking naps the first month. Now it's time to really light a fire under his bun and get that leprechaun stepping.
Okay. Now, I just want scouting reports from what you guys saw on some of these other players who've been they were non-factors in the beginning, but they're still around and they're starting to get more and more attention on the show. Talk to me about Steve and what you guys had an impression of Steve while you were there. Is he somebody that we should be taking seriously in the game?
I think Steve is very calculated. I think everything that he does with a purpose. He asks questions. He asks specific questions. If you talk to him, he wants to know who you're talking about, what you're saying, when they said it. I think he's very calculated, and his game that he's playing is very under-the-radar game. When he's been on the block or when he's needed to win competitions, he's won them. So I like his game so far, honestly.
Audrey's crinkling her nose. She's shaking her head.
I feel like Steve is calculated. However, I like aggressive people. It's more fun. It's more intense. It's more entertaining.
Audrey, what did you think about what Steve did during the double eviction?
What did I what?
What did you think about what Steve did in the double eviction?
I thought it was a waste.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked watching Meg while she was on the block. It was funny from my perspective because Meg identifies as this person that's so not emotional and she doesn't know how to deal with other people that have emotions, but she's whimpering and sobbing and boogers are coming out of her nose while she's up for eviction. That was entertaining, but I don't think that Jackie was necessarily going to target Steve. I think that, I don't know. I felt like maybe he was going to try to backdoor Becky and Johnny Mack didn't use a veto because he probably knew it.
Yeah. So you think that was what actually happened?
I guess.
I think Steve.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think Johnny Mack talked to him, or Steve wanted Johnny Mack to use a veto, but Johnny Mack didn't want it because he knew Steve would put up Becky. Becky would go home. So I think that's why Johnny Mack didn't use a veto. And I think they had a conversation about it. I don't know if it was aired or people saw it, but they kind of, I guess, came to terms on Johnny Mack not using it. But I think Steve wanted to send Becky home for sure.
What about Meg and James, that they were the people, or especially James, he was the person that said, I'm going to make a big move, I want to break up Clelly, and then Jackie goes home to the double eviction, and it's almost like they're seemingly a little forgotten in the house. Can either of them make a run in the game?
I think it depends who comes back on the jury buyback. I think if Jackie comes back, that's definitely going to help them gain power, gain numbers. If Jackie doesn't, which I hope she does not, then I think they're going to be kind of the next group to fade out, honestly.
I hope that Jackie does come back because I want James to get to the end. I think he deserves it. And I feel like I know you.
Clay, are you believe this?
I mean, from a game standpoint, I think James has played a good game so far, honestly. He got me out. Some reasons.
He plays by his own fucking rules.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, he's played a good game. I'm not bitter. I'm sitting here with her. That's the worst part of this night. But no, yeah, he's played a good game. I can't give credit where credit's due. I agree with him. He took the move to get out me and Shelley, and I said, look, this is either going to make or break his game. So far, it's made his game. So hey, I can't really complain about that.
Well, what about Meg? And she took such a big fall tonight. Audrey, did you feel bad for Meg after she took that big spill?
That was the most action I've seen Meg get this whole.
What about the BB scandal?
Oh yeah. What about the BB scandal?
What about the BB scandal?
Clay, were you surprised that was such a big deal on the show?
I was a victim in the situation.
I was a victim, and I was completely shocked. When I first found out about it, when Julie asked me about it,
Yeah, I was surprised she asked about it, too.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? And then she brought up the, situation, and I never thought anything of it. It did look scandalous on TV. I will admit to that.
Meg is just very friendly.
She's very friendly.
She likes men.
She
really likes guys.
Yeah,
she's flirty.
But she's very likable among other people too. So, Meg's Meg.
Okay. All right, Meg's Meg.
Thanks, Meg.
There you go.
And
Audrey, that was your take on the BB scandal, Audrey?
I mean, I thought it was super scandalous.
No. No, what made it scandalous was when I said, don't tell anyone about this, I was meaning, don't tell anyone about me asking you to vote for Shelley, not myself. But they framed it to where I'm like, hey, don't tell anybody about this like hugging that we're doing in the bathroom. So that wasn't the case.
Okay. So if one day, if Clay goes to New York, we'll have to follow up on the scandal.
And she was like flirting with Oteb too. Now that I think about
Oh, was
I
Meg
was like-
Thanks, Alex. Thank you, Alex.
I was watching the episode. I'm like, is Meg hitting on Brad right now?
I agree.
Okay. Now, don't tell me what's going to happen. Tell me from your perspective, both of you, if you were in the house and Johnny, Mack, and Becky are sitting up there on the block, who should the people in the house be gunning for?
It depends. Whoever wants Vanessa out, they should send Becky home because I think everyone knows that Johnny Mack wants Vanessa out 100%.
But wasn't Becky her whole thing last week was that she's the one who wants Vanessa out the most? How did Johnny Mack co-opt that from Becky when that was her whole thing is I'm the person that wants to get Vanessa out?
It was because he made the mistake of telling Vanessa how he really felt. When he told Vanessa how he really felt, that's when her attention changed. And like when you have a really strong personality type and you can feel the heat from someone else, then first thing you want to do is extinguish that fire, put it out, and he completely took the target off of her without probably wanting to and put it on himself.
But Audrey, if you want Vanessa out of the house, who would you want to keep around, Becky or Johnny Mack?
Ugh. Honestly, I feel like it's a safer bet to keep Becky because people respect Johnny Mack.
I think Becky.
I don't think anyone will like actually work seriously with Becky. She can win competitions and she'll go after Vanessa, but after that, like she's just another hair in Austin's beard.
Wow.
Good Tony. But Johnny Mack has wanted Becky out. I mean, not Becky. Johnny Mack has wanted Vanessa out for a long time, since way before I left, and he's made that known to me personally that Vanessa was his main target. He just doesn't advertise like some people do. Honestly, Becky would probably be better to stay because I think Becky and Vanessa would always target each other. So that takes off the target on a few people in the house. Like she said, Johnny Mack's respected. I don't know if a lot of people want him out like they do Becky, but I think the safest bet, if I were in the house, I mean, I could vote out Johnny Mack, but Becky would be a safer bet to keep in the house because Vanessa and Becky will always be going at each other.
And Becky has no one.
Yeah.
She would have no one.
What about Johnny Mack and being asked to throw the veto again? You know, it was very funny earlier in the season when Clay was asking him to do it. But for Johnny Mack to be even contemplating throwing the veto at this point, isn't that a bad move for a guy who's on the block and seriously? And this isn't throwing Battle of the Block and being the pawn. You know, we're down to there's 9 people left in the house. Like, isn't that extremely risky to be even thinking about throwing the veto?
Yeah. I mean,
Does that make you feel like he's not as serious about the game as he should be?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that statement. I'm not sure why he wanted to do this in the game, but
Clay gives the safe answer. Then I want the real answer from Audrey.
He's probably overestimating himself. Like in the situation, he probably for some reason believes in his little mind that everyone is going to assume he's weaker because Becky just did a huge Olympic leap from this spot to this spot in the challenge. I don't know. I think that he's overestimating the situation. He probably maybe feels like it's calculated, but
yeah.
Alex, did you feel like that was
a guy giving up his game for a girl?
There's a lot of that going around. Oh my God, Alex, did you feel like that was Johnny Mack just sort of like hedging his bets in case he didn't win the veto, that he could just tell people that he threw it?
I don't know. I mean, he was first out, right? So it's like we didn't see anything to confirm that, and it's hard to make that argument seeing that he was first out. I mean, I think this is like, it's interesting. This is the one scenario that I think it actually does work because his opponent on the block is like almost resigned to going home, and it's clear that everyone else wants her out. So this is like the one spot where he might get away with it. That being said, I don't think I would have the balls to do it in there. I don't think it's a great move.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's either really smart or really not smart. One or the other. It's really no middle ground on that. Okay, so we're down to it. Who do you guys feel like is going to walk away as the winner of the season, based on what you're seeing right now?
I think if Johnny Mack and Becky leave, Vanessa's going to win it. No doubt in my mind.
Because Clay, I'm glad you brought this up, because a lot of people have said, no, if Vanessa is in front of the jury, she can't win. She's played too aggressively. It'll be sort of like, either Dan in Big Brother 14 in a best case scenario, or like a Russell Hanson, a worst case scenario. Do you feel like the jury would reward Vanessa for her gameplay this season?
I think they would. Most of the people that I've talked to have said that if they're in jury, they're going to strictly vote for who played the best game.
Yeah.
Right now, I think, aside from James, she has played the best game of who's left in the house. Last week was kind of my selling factor, and I was like, wow, you know what? She was going home 100%, and how she flipped the house on Shelley to let Shelley go to jury and her stay was, I was like, you know what? Props to her. So, again, if Becky and Johnny Mack leave, because those are her two biggest threats, I think that if at least she'll make the final two.
And Audrey, are you thinking Vanessa also?
No. Unfortunately, I mean, now the twins are like, I think they're sick. They don't want to target her. They're trying to get other people that will set her up and target her. Unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be someone really annoying that wins.
Like who?
Like Liz. Like one of the twins that I just don't want to win. I don't want them to win as like a fan of the show. I wouldn't want them to win.
Audrey, I heard you could do an impression of the twins.
I can't. I wear my bandana just in case.
Yeah. Okay. So I won't ask Clay to be the Austin in this improvisation. Yes.
Okay. You want to interview me as if I'm Julia?
Are you Liz or Julia? Did you be Julia?
Julia.
Is Clay Liz?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll be awesome.
All right. So, Liz, what are you thinking as HOH this week?
I thought I'm Austin.
No. It's a family show, Clay.
Julia!
It's a family show. All right, Julia, what do you think of your sister winning HOH this week?
I'm like so proud of her. Like, I'm just like, oh my god.
Oh my! What the fuck?
Clay, did you feel like you're right back there?
But then, like, I'm also really worried about her because of, like, Austin.
My God, Austin, get away!
Like,
what the fuck?
When she feels his beard, I feel her beard because, like, we're twins and we have that connection.
Very good.
That we gotta prove.
There were two scenes in the episode that were really, really funny. One was when Liz didn't pick Julia in the draw for the house guest choice, and she picked Austin, and she was like going back and forth with her sister. That was very funny. And I looked cute, so you would pick me in the veto, and you look ugly right now. No, I don't. That was very funny. And then during the Hickey Gate, that was very, very funny. Did Julia tell Liz about with Austin, no more sucky sucky? Is that a quote?
That was I think a definite quote.
I didn't have my soundboard running tonight because I'm traveling, but it was an excellent night for quotes from Big Brother tonight.
It's the number pokey.
Yes.
Yeah, and then what was up with Steve under the hammock with Vanessa?
Yeah, that was a little weird. I'm not sure what that was about, but he was poking her under the hammock. I'm not sure why or
poking her.
Yeah. It was just so funny because it looked like Vanessa's lying in the hammock, and then you pull back, and then there's Steve underneath the hammock.
Like, Steve, what are you doing? Like, I'm on the move. He's just like, why not?
Audrey, who do you hope comes back from jury?
I kind of hope that it's Jackie. Because I really want to see James go to the end. Sorry.
You want Jackie to go to the end. Why?
No. I think Jackie has played an aggressive game physically, and towards the end, she started to step it up strategically, but I think she stepped it up way too late, and that's why she is where she is. However, I think that she would go back in there. She'd go gun blazing. She's not afraid to make moves. She won't fuck up her HOH this time, and yeah, I think I would like Jackie.
Okay, and Clay, I know who you want to come back from jury, but tell me this: can whoever comes back from jury, can they actually win the game? Do you think the players in the house, if they were in the final two against somebody who didn't come back from jury, could they ultimately win the game no matter who it is?
I think it'd be extremely difficult.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like what?
Evil Dick won the game, and he
But-
got away with whatever the hell he wanted. So if
That's a different story, though. He didn't get evicted from the house,
true,
and he was up against his daughter in the final
that's even
two.
more like astonishing. He was this controversial player the whole season and never got evicted.
Yeah.
So to me, that's stranger than someone coming back in the house.
I think in order for somebody from jury to come back and win the game, literally all the cards have to fall into place to win. As far as coming right back in the game, winning HOH that week, putting up the people who, are threatening that certain person. I think everything has to just fall into place for them to win. Again, people are going to target that person just because they're getting a second chance, is what they're going to call it. So pretty much the odds are definitely against that person that comes back from jury.
Okay. I want to start taking some questions from our listeners. Make sure you use hashtag RHAP if you want to get your questions in the show. You guys ready for some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. This is a question that is from Countryfied Diva. So, Meg wanted the noms to stay the same. Discuss. Why would Meg want the noms to stay the same? So she doesn't go up on the block?
I don't know. Probably.
I'm sure that there's been some discussion about
Backdooring James.
Yep, maybe a fear of backdooring James, but also Becky and John are both competition threats, and they're threats for similar reasons, but also different reasons. John has been kind of the Jesus of the season, and campaigning against him is kind of a sin, and no one wants to do it.
And Austin is the Judas that could take him out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's the perfect opportunity. It's poetic.
I think she was more worried about James being backdoored. That too, but if she loses James, she's done with. She's gone. So I think she was worried about James being. Because that would be the only other option is James be up on the block and James be backdoored.
Okay, let's
James
take another question.
Yeah.
Rachel says, is Julia at risk of being viewed as someone dragged to the end, or is it good for her game that Liz is winning and she's not? Which of the twins is in a better position in your mind? Is it Liz who's out in front, who's winning things, who's with Austin and the showmance, or is it Julia who's been more in the background but still part of this three-person alliance?
Liz has been more vulnerable outwardly. It's painted right in front of everybody's frickin' face. I have my sister and I've got my tool boyfriend, okay? So no one is doing anything to split any of that throuple up. And so to me, I think if she gets to the end, she has a better argument than her sister. And also if she gets to the end somehow in a weird universe where it is the three of them as final three, she has two people that will take her. And so that's why I feel like Liz is in a better position.
Audrey, who should go on the Amazing Race? Clay and Shelley or Liz and Austin? Who should it be?
Me.
You and who?
Me and maybe Clay.
Oh.
That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Wow, that would be pretty wild.
Austin, her and Stevie, her and Vanessa, her and Day.
I know. Don't people want to see us fight again?
I'm kind of by default. I'm the only one that would go, because I would actually want to go. Unfortunately, but.
Okay. Now, just for the record, just clear this up. Which twin was the nice one? Who was the nice one and who was the mean one?
I didn't talk to them that much, honestly. And I think they made a comment
You were in an alliance with them.
And they were just numbers. Like I said, that's how I viewed them, and that's what I thought of them. They were literally there for numbers. Game plan talk, none of it. No strategy, the strategizing with them. when Liz won her first HOH, holy, was that a shit show. She literally said, Vanessa, run it for me, and her and Austin are getting drunk in the HOH room, or in the bed. And we're just like, what? Like, literally, Vanessa and Shelley and myself ran her HOH because she didn't want to be with it. So when I saw them, I was like, okay, they're numbers. They're going to just go with whatever we say.
Okay. Audrey, did you have a favorite of the twins?
I don't know the difference, but whichever one made me chicken nuggets, that's the one that I liked.
I thought James made you the chicken nuggets.
James made me a hamburger and omelets.
What did I always make you?
Clay made me coffee and omelets, and then one of the twins would always make me chicken nuggets.
So she really was pampered in the house, honestly.
I was.
Yeah. Okay, let's take another question from Peel Away. Question for Audrey. Do you think you were safe when Jason/John were first put up? Why do you think the target switched to you?
I don't know if I was actually ever safe or not.
Was Audrey ever safe, Clay?
Honestly, in Shelley, in my eyes, she was safe. I think she wasn't safe until maybe a day or two before POV was going to be used.
And then Vanessa made you guys put her up on the block?
A lot of it was Vanessa, but it wasn't just Vanessa. It was the whole house as it was 3 weeks before that. But that week really kind of solidified it as far as Vanessa really was, pushing her own objective and her own agenda. So was the whole house, and the way things played out, it just, they just didn't fall right.
Audrey, you were so great on the feeds the first couple of weeks of the show. It really was. Nobody got any work done for like the first couple of weeks of July. It was so exciting. But when you're in the midst of it, do you realize like how crazy it is? And do you say to yourself at all like, boy, this is going way out of control. I need to scale it back? Or do you feel like you're so dug in that the only way to get out is to keep digging?
Yes, I totally felt out of control, but when you are yelled at by 90% of the house in the have-not room, you have your back against the fucking wall. And when everyone is saying they can't be seen with you and they're treating you like you have Ebola or you're a virus or something, you feel like you have to be extra proactive, especially when people who are reassuring you you're safe, why are you paranoid? And then running upstairs to the HOH and getting in bed and being like, Audrey's really getting on my nerves. And then Shelley's like, oh yeah, well, maybe we need to use her as a backdoor option.
Did Clay swear to God to you that he was going to be coming to visit you, or did you just have to take him at his word?
Unfortunately, this time I had to just take him at his word.
Yeah. Okay. When you told Clay about how you swore on your life, did you actually know that you were not being accurate with that?
To be honest, no, I didn't remember. When I went in that house, I was like, I'm going to commit to my lies. So when I lie, I am not changing. I'm going to be emotional. I'm going to cry. I'm going to kick. I'm going to scream that I'm telling the fucking truth. Because sometimes, even if you are lying, you can make people second-guess themselves.
I started second-guessing myself. And going into that room, coming out of it, the whole next day, I was 100% sure what she said. And then after talking to her outside by the pool, we kind of blew up, I started thinking, wait, did she say that? I don't know if she said that. I wasn't sure because she fully commits to her lies, like she said. And, I mean, that was a good game strategy, somewhat.
Yeah. Let's take some more questions. And then this is from Spicy Wasabi. Clay, why were you so resistant to throw Becky under the bus instead of Austin to James to save yourselves? The Becky info was more damaging. Did you hesitate to throw Becky under the bus or the train?
It would have been more damaging. It's very true. I don't know. It's just I didn't feel right doing that because she. The only reason we knew that we were potentially going to go up on the block was because she came down and told us, and she was giving us information to help our game. So I don't know. Maybe it's the person I am. I just didn't feel right to exploit her after she was really helping us out with our game, trying to work with us to stay, doing as much as she could without ruining her game. So I couldn't do that. Austin, I didn't feel like gave us the respect that we deserved as far as us saving him. He didn't reciprocate that favor. So I had no problem with telling James everything about Austin.
Did you guys have any idea in the house how big the train thing was with Becky?
As far as like her getting hit by a legit train and surviving.
And how on the show now at this point every single time they're talking anybody showing her about anything about Becky, people have to use some sort of a train pun or joke.
I didn't realize it was that big. Honestly, I didn't know till like a couple weeks in that she even touched a train before.
Yeah.
So now that it's as big as it is, that's kind of miraculous that she got hit by a train.
I feel like she spoke about it a lot.
Did she?
Because I would feel like we would always be in these situations where we would be talking about something totally random, and Becky would always turn the conversation back to herself. Like, I think she even said that one time she was at an amusement park, and a dime flew out of someone's pocket who was on a roller coaster, and it hit her in the face.
Wow. Is her face like a magnet where metal is always just going into it?
No, I guess so.
Which is metal's good.
She should have been Magneto for the comics.
Yeah, it should have been Magneto.
Writes itself. Yeah.
Objects just constantly in our face. I don't know. It's weird.
Surprising Magneto didn't get hit in the face with more trains, but I guess that's for another story. Let's go to I'm Drunker Than Moses. Did John's death stare scare the hell out of anyone else? What about Johnny Mack's death icy glazed over look?
Did you notice it? I didn't really notice it that much. Maybe that's just John. I don't know. I didn't really.
I never noticed his face move much at all because he never really talked.
Even when he laughs, he's like loud enough to laugh. His face stays the same. Like his lips don't move or his mouth. It's like.
That's good. That's really good.
That was very good.
All right, Jeremiah Yap wants to know, were you guys officially told about the end of the Big Brother takeover? I guess you guys were ready for a takeover, but they stopped coming.
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to walk out to a takeover, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I walked out to a plane ticket back home. Where
Yeah.
was my takeover, guys? Where was
Yeah.
Click?
Sorry, no more takeovers. Were you guys bummed out that the takeovers stopped?
I was extremely bummed. I was looking forward to it. They were fun, honestly.
Because you're bored in the house and just like, okay, at least anything to do?
Just anything.
I was really hoping that I was going to be able to march back in there with a blanket on my head and resurrect and just be like, I'm back, bitches. Buckle up.
Yeah, buckle up, bitches. Audrey, were you happy with the comic book representation of you?
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Like, I'm a legend now.
That was the best one.
It was the best fucking one. Like, I'm a blanket fucking wizard now. I'm a black belt at blanketing.
Yeah, and Clay, what was yours? You were Mr. What was it?
What was mine?
Mr. Perfection or something.
Mr. Perfection.
Superpower.
Yeah, no, that's kind of boring.
You're too good looking.
That was boring. I wanted superpower. Something. Maybe anything. I don't care what it is. Just something.
What did you think of Shelley's? She was the Puma.
She was. You know, I wasn't arguing about it. She looked hot in that spandex or whatever she was wearing. So there was some kind of like spanking. I don't know, but
Spanking. Wow.
I don't know. That's what it says in the comic. I'm just saying what it says in the comic.
Okay, Shannon Kish says, whose game has been the biggest surprise to you since you left the house? When you walked out of the house and started looking at these episodes, who were you guys surprised by?
I was most surprised by Johnny Mack. Like, I just was overwhelmed that he's this big character on the show, and he's a super fan. I mean, we knew something was up, because in the beginning I was like, why is this dude casted? Like, there's something.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real MD. Like, he is not just a dentist.
He's a dentist.
No, yeah, he's everything he said.
There was something more to his story,
yeah, there was
though,
something
yeah.
more, because in the house he was just so vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
So you guys were just very surprised by Johnny Mack that you thought he was going to be like this mastermind when you guys got out of the house?
Not so much mastermind, but like she said, he was.
I didn't realize he was playing the game.
Yeah, like he was very. Like I think he's been calculated too. Like there was more than what meets the eye to him or with him, and like she said, vanilla. That's like a very good way to put it. He was just. It was. I mean, people call Becky basic, but he was just like a basic character. And I thought there was something else to him, whether he was not a dentist or he was a dentist or he was a super fan. There was just something else behind him. it was kind of makes sense figuring out that he was a super fan.
So does that speak to that he's doing a really good job in there?
I think so. I think he's been calculated too as far as his moves. Laying, him carrying on this fly as long as he has. I think he's been playing a pretty good game, honestly. Nothing too bold. Like she said, she likes bold players, bold moves. He hasn't really done any of those, but he has been playing, I think, a very low-key game, very good low-key game.
Clay, what did you think about when Vanessa said last week that she's on to what's going on in the house and that Johnny Mack is either your brother or your gay lover?
That was just another one of Vanessa's crazy theories. So that's one of the many. And honestly, I don't know. Remember my reaction, but I think it was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it didn't catch me off guard because she comes with this stuff all the time, and me and Johnny Mack looked at each other and was like, that's interesting. Well, that's not true, but I think I said we were brothers just so she would go off and like ponder it for another 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. So then let's take another question from Heidi, who says, Shelley said if she gets back in the game, she would play Vanessa's game right back at her. How much would you like to see that? And do you feel like, is that what she would do, Clay?
I do think it's what she would do. I think she would pretty much target whoever was more appealing as far as if she won HOH or if someone else won HOH, who would be a better target to sit home as far as James or Vanessa. I think the fact that she's on to Vanessa, she knows Vanessa's game now, she would have no problem targeting her. But the fact that she knows and Vanessa doesn't, that would give her a big advantage to send her home before Vanessa caught on to anything.
And then from Jason Belden, hey, Audrey, what was your strategy behind wearing sunglasses during all your game conversations? How did you feel when Vanessa used the same tactic on you? Did Audrey leave, Clay?
No, she's right here. She's plugging in.
No,
computer.
I'm holding my
just
computer.
left.
Sorry.
She was done.
Okay. Why? With that strategy.
Walked away. So.
Part of my reason was because Vanessa, she said, I just can tell like how smart she is. She reads people's body language. So that's why like when I would lie to her, I knew I was going to have to look her in the eye. I wasn't going to be able to move any of my fingers. I couldn't cross my arms. I couldn't do anything. I just had to look at her blank face in the eye and just commit to whatever the hell comes out of my mouth. So when she gave me the same treatment, I'm like, okay, she is up to something here, and I'm just going to have to fold my cards. And that's what I did. Like, at the very end, that last fight that we had up in the HOH room, I had nothing left. So I was just like, whatever.
Okay. How you guys doing on time?
We probably have like 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Okay. All right. So do you guys, let me ask you guys, do you guys want to talk about stuff from the live feeds, or do you want to answer some more questions?
Let's do some more questions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do questions with Audrey and Clay. Then they got to get on the road, and then I'll go with Alex and talk about what's going on from the live feed. So here we go. Let's go rapid fire with these questions from Cole Jordan. Okay, Audrey is being hilarious. Oh, sorry. Okay, Audrey is being hilarious in this podcast. Question for Audrey: is this your personality? If it is, why didn't you act like this in the house? Well, this is a loaded question.
Sorry, let me get some ice for that burn. I feel like
She was pretty funny in the house.
was funny in the house, but I don't know if it was highlighted on the show because I was also being dramatic as fuck.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure on the live feeds there were times when you weren't serious talking game talk. At least 5% of the time, right?
I mean, like the first week too was I think I was having a lot of fun the first week before it all went downhill.
There's not a lot of game talk the first week and a half. So everybody's just kind of enjoying everybody's company, having fun. I think the first week was kind of everybody was letting their guard down, getting to know everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going. This is from Patrick Killian. Does Vanessa come off as insane in the house as she does on the TV show?
Not really. The more the season goes on, it's starting to show more and more. It really just kind of started coming out the last week or 2 weeks. But no one really caught on to it as far as her being crazy. The emotional outbursts with me, Johnny Mack, and her was kind of like people were like, okay, she's a ticking time bomb. We're on to her. And it's kind of escalated ever since then.
But where I empathize for her position is that she actually doesn't have anyone. Like, you know, you and Shelley had each other to collect each other and make sure no one fully like cracked and just broke loose and went nuts. You know, John and Becky have each other, and John and Steve has but Steve's been like flipping on her, and she knows that they're not that close, and they haven't been. Yeah. And so I think when you just feel totally alone, you really do need someone else in that house to help keep your shit together. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, it's good to have a buddy. 2 people is better than 1.
Very true.
It's just a problem when everybody knows who your other person is, right, Clay?
Exactly right.
It's tough. It's tough. Let's go to John DeMello. Says, Audrey and Clay, now that you've gone through the BB experience, if you could go back in time and tell your preseason self one piece of advice, what would it be? Audrey, what would be the one piece of advice you'd tell yourself?
It would be to shove a blanket down my throat that first moment I can, and just leave it down there for, the first 4 weeks.
Like, not talk as much.
Yeah, I would not talk as much, and also I would commit to a pair. Like, I wanted to go into the house originally, and I wanted to either play matchmaker or find a couple that I could get close with and hide behind. And I started to kind of develop that with Clay and Shelley, and then I got derailed. So, yeah, I would just commit. I wouldn't get close with Davon or Jason. I would have just committed to a side.
Yeah. Well, you had the first night had an alliance with Shelley and Davon.
Oh, I saw that. That worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah, but everyone makes an alliance on the first day.
Not everybody. Not everybody.
Yeah, you're right. And honestly, it could have been fine. It really
it would have been fine.
No, I mean, Davon was concerned about you and Shelley coming together, but I didn't think that was that bad for us.
Yeah. Okay. Clay, real quick, what would be your advice to yourself?
Honestly, just go with my gut feeling more. In the house, I had a very strong feeling about James, even Meg. Just stay with them, Johnny Mack from the beginning, and just commit to them. Like she said, find somebody to commit to. I had Shelley. I felt good about James. Felt good about Meg. Kind of the first part of the season, the first week or so, that was really my group who I hung out with. Vanessa kind of came in slowly. We kind of, drifted towards her. I think that was the start of the downfall for my game, maybe even Shelley's. But if I could go back, I would love to work with James, Meg, Johnny Mack, all of us together.
So it would be when we were all up in that room and I was like, Vanessa's got to go.
Not with certain people in there. Davon, I didn't trust her. Yeah. And I kept saying that too throughout the season was I trust certain people in that group when she brought up everybody, but there was people I didn't trust. And those certain people would get into the people that I trust ear and would turn them against me. So when people left, like you kind of saw our last minute plea to James, me and Shelley, as far as like we wanted to work with James and Meg because from the get-go we've always felt good about them. And when certain people left, it was kind of like we're all we have right now, and it didn't work out. But I think if I could go back, I'll just go with my gut feeling more.
Okay, let's do one last question from Mr. Epic. Will the dynamic of Julia hating Austin with Liz evolve into Julia targeting him eventually? Is this even still going on? Does Julia still hate Austin in your minds?
I don't know about hate. I wouldn't say hate. If it comes down, you think hate?
I don't think she likes him.
I don't think she likes him, but I don't think she hates him.
I don't know if anyone actually hates anyone.
Yeah, well, I don't think Julia would target Austin right now. I
think it's gonna happen.
It's gonna it's gonna happen if they're pretty much all that's left. But right now, no, she wouldn't target him. It could potentially come down to it. It wouldn't shock me, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Okay. Audrey and Clay, thank you guys so much for coming on with us. Really, really, really appreciate it. You guys were so fun together. I think maybe The Amazing Race could work.
Ooh.
I think it would be a funny, entertaining show to watch.
I'm going to go buy some Rosetta Stone and start learning up your different languages.
And you need to find the dictionary.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Oh, we're going to be fucked.
All right. I know you guys are out of the house and a little bit new on Twitter. If anybody's not following you, how do they find you guys?
You want to go first?
Mine is C_honey25.
Yes.
Also, my Instagram is ch_bb17. So check me out.
All of my social media is the same. It's a pun on my name, ODDREYM.
Yes.
Instagram, Twitter, and then there's probably a bunch of other fake social media sites with the same stuff. But those three are for show me.
You're not going to start Snapchatting like Clay?
Oh, no. I've got... Okay, my Snapchat is actually different. And my Snapchat is ODDREYM364. And I've been Snapchatting.
Okay.
My Snapchat is Clay Honey, ClayHoney. So...
Okay, get on that. It's a lot of fun. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having us.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so Audrey and Clay are gonna jump off, but we're gonna bring in Alex, who I barely got to talk to tonight, but that's actually fine because tomorrow night he's gonna be joining us as well because Brent is gonna be traveling, so Alex is doing double duty this week on the show.
That's right. You guys get an Alex takeover, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. So.
Here it comes.
Without further ado, Alex, let's get into what we're here to talk about. Let's get into the spoilers.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected, and that protective action should be taken.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'm holding up an iPad to a microphone. It's time to talk spoilers.
Yeah, that's my jam.
Yes, it's everybody's jam. All right, Alice, first, how do you think that Clay and Audrey did?
Oh, I thought that went great. I really enjoyed that. Clay was really like really brought like a lot of insight that I didn't necessarily expect. I knew we would get it from Audrey, but like I didn't know if Clay was still had his head in the game to really discuss all that. I thought they both were really awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, very fun. I think we like it when we see people fight in the house, and then after it's over, we like it when people eventually can put their differences aside.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, they really do seem to have like gained perspective on everything very quickly relative to, we've seen some people not get it after a year. So.
Yeah, I'll say. All right, so let's talk about it. Eviction coming up tomorrow night. Talk to me about Johnny, Mack, and Becky. Who's going home?
All right. Well, this is like that rare week in the Big Brother 17 house where there's really not been anything strategic that happened in the last 48 hours. The Wednesday episode left us after the Veto meeting with Becky going home seemingly and needing to do work, and that's still where we are. Really very few conversations about the game itself have taken place since.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It just has not gone back and forth, especially after the dramatic week that was last week with everything happening between the Shelley versus Vanessa battle, where then it flipped like midway through the week. It's been pretty much a straight shot this week.
Exactly. And then, when we did our show on Friday morning, I was going on about how crazy Thursday night was. It really was. It was like they played this whole week Thursday night. When Vanessa went upstairs, they talked about these alliances they were going to form. And then, Austin and the twins went downstairs and formed brass tacks with Meg and James. So that keeps, Meg and James from going rogue. You know what I mean? So, it pretty much calmed the waters by enacting what they had set into plan on Thursday night.
All right, so is this just the calm before the storm, in your opinion, based on what could happen on Thursday?
Absolutely. I think we're just waiting for a power shift, and then, things are going to definitely reshuffle. This really has kind of a, as we're getting down into the stretch, almost a BB15 feel to me a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Where this, I don't know if people really remember. I mean, everyone right now is talking about how the twins in Austin are like, how could you possibly leave them until 9 when there are 3? I don't know if people remember how much they were talking about Amanda is winning this game when there was 9 or 8 people left in Big Brother 15. But people were stunned that no one was targeting McCranda. People were sure Amanda had this on lock, that she was friends with production. And I just think it's
Allison Grotner's friend went in the house and was going to make her win the game.
That's right. People were,
who had empirical evidence? Yeah.
People were sure. I mean, people had this on lock. Like, some people were done watching because it was so obvious, right? And to me, that's a little bit like Austin and the twins because, if you get rid of one of them at 8 or at 7, they're not that threatening anymore. Keep in mind also, if you go after Liz first, I mean, Vanessa's game to me is almost like the way a parasite will, she would embed herself in that Liz gap. That would be, you know what I mean?
Whoa, hey, don't talk about any of this Austin stuff, Alex. We're not talking about that right now.
I thought Audrey did it really tastefully when she just mentioned an oil change.
Got it. We got it.
But no, I think, if someone were to target Liz, that leaves a void between Austin and Julia that I think Vanessa would capitalize on. And I think the smarter move to me, and I swear I'm the only person online saying this because I'm looking for others, so maybe I'm just alone in the sanatorium here, but I would target Vanessa first. I really think you can actually leave the threesome till 7. I know it sounds crazy, but they're not that threatening. They're really not. Like, they're not strategic. Get out the person who can plant ideas, and then you can plant the ideas.
Okay, we'll see. So you feel like that Vanessa's the head of the snake. Without the head of the snake, you feel like they're kind of toothless.
Yeah, exactly. You picked up the snake, you recognized it was a snake, but then you've got like the chipmunk over here and Liz, and you're gonna like put down the snake for a second, and he's gonna bite your ankle while you're dealing with the chipmunk. Like.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, so just let's talk through a couple scenarios based on whoever wins the HOH. If somebody from either Meg or James wins the HOH, what can we expect to have happen? Do you think brass tacks will hold?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think that'll be the point where we'll really see, where they stand, because they've been really laying low. They were so reeling after the Jackie eviction that their first move was secure safety for this week and then just kind of feel our way out again because they were clearly out of the loop. So I think they need to gain power before we can really have any idea of what they're going to do, because they're playing like like a lamb right now, just timid little steps right now.
What about Steve? Could we see Steve make a run for HOH again, or will he try to throw it?
If I was Steve, I would try to throw it because I don't see anyone targeting him right away. I don't think this is when he needs to win. And a lot of people, people were saying it was a mistake for Steve not to do more with his double eviction. I mean, little do people forget. I mean, people forget that Ian targeted Ashley with his double eviction. I mean, Ashley was Ian's like showman. She wasn't a threat. She wasn't seemingly someone Ian needed to get out, but Ian was able to remove someone who was not a threat. No other threat saw him as a threat, and then there you go. You win HOH and you fade back into the background. And I think
keep that in your back pocket for tomorrow night.
All right.
Okay.
Indeed, I will.
And then what about Johnny Mack? Do you think that could this week coming up be the Johnny Mack HOH?
Well, as a fellow leprechaun myself, I am a Johnny Mack apologist. I have been all season, and I think it's absolutely fair. The knocks on his game, the fact that he's like laid low, probably well past the point where he needed to. But I thought, we saw him campaigning to Austin and the Twins tonight, which, I think that segment shouldn't be overlooked because some things he did there were very good. The way he was talking about Vanessa, like I really listened to that segment. He's framing her in a way, wow, whoever gets that eviction, that's a huge, check mark on the resume. Like, I mean, he's talking about her not like a human being, but like a bounty. And I think that's the kind of rhetoric that Vanessa uses. That's the kind of gameplay, the kind of spin that you need to have to be able to convince people to do stuff. So I saw a bit of that from Johnny Mack tonight, and I was excited about it.
Okay. Anything else from the live feeds from this week?
Oh, Becky said she was going to do a lot of campaigning, and then unfortunately, I guess she's had some old war wound with her toe flare up since OTEV, where she's kind of just been very bedridden and hobbling about. So I think that's really hindered her ability to do any campaigning. So yeah, we haven't gotten much in that sense.
She's let a bum toe stop her from campaigning?
It is unfortunate. Yeah, it was like all day yesterday she was trying to get in the DR to get it looked at, and it reminded me of like when Gina Marie was like, her knees, she's like bleeding out, and they didn't look at her for like an entire day. It's just like laying there begging for help. I think they'd get a little bit quicker response. Like, how far away is the CBS doctor?
I don't know. I think it depends on the severity of the injury.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. So anything else before tomorrow night?
One thing I think that this is not super strategic, but in a way it kind of is, because we've seen people overplay this season. One thing, like the Captain Camo segments, the James constantly playing pranks. I think that maybe a piece of that is, like, he was a prison guard for 3 years. He knows how to deal with people who have way too much free time and nothing to do. I think that's an interesting thing to think about, because he's like good at kind of managing downtime. Hiding
on people and scaring them came out of his experience as a prison guard? What kind of prison is this?
I just think, I remember there's a line in Game of Thrones, Rob, where they talk about how we make entertainment versus how the commoners make entertainment. And if we don't make entertainment for them, they're going to make their own entertainment, and it'll be like a riot or something. And
Wow.
I think maybe that speaks to how you have to operate as a prison guard. You have to keep it fun so people don't lose their minds. And that's something James has really done in the Big Brother house, is keep it fun during the boring times. And I think maybe that's going to help him with votes down the stretch. It certainly makes him more likable to the fans.
So you feel like somebody's going to say, boy, James is up on the block this week, but when he scared Liz, that was classic. Yeah, that guy's staying. Keep him around.
I don't think it has that much strategic, like, I don't think it really factors in that much. But I do think there's something there to the fact that he's not, overplaying the game, and he's also not breaking down like Vanessa. And I think it's because he knows how to not take himself too seriously. That's really what I'm trying to drive at here.
By the way, if you're in prison and you go around a corner and James the guard jumps out is that really the scariest thing that's happening to you in the prison? Like, oh, thank God, it's just you, James, not some of these other guys that I've seen around here. Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Boy, you said I am so not scared right now because it's just you, James.
Yeah, if we're having a fantasy draft of guys to jump out at me in prison, James is
that are scary. Yeah,
he's probably going in the first round there. Yeah.
All right. So we will be back on Thursday night with Ian Terry. Alex is going to be filling in for Brent, who is with us on Monday for the voicemail show. Very much looking forward to seeing this next HOH. Do you have any idea on what we're going to have? It seemed like 2 weeks in a row, or we had the double eviction, which had been before that 2 weeks of endurance competitions. Do you think that we'll have for the first time in 3 weeks a HOH crowned on Thursday night?
I don't know. I would think so, right? Yeah, I mean, it seems like it makes sense. It seems like the perfect time for them to do something like that. OTEV was physical too, so yeah, I mean, I would expect some kind of questionnaire or something to that effect.
Okay. Well, do you have a pick for who's the HOH?
Oh, pick for HOH. I'm gonna say James or Johnny Mack. I think they need it the most, and I think, one of them. I think that's the best for entertainment purposes, and I think that's a good likelihood. I'm going to go with that.
All right. So we'll be back tomorrow night, Thursday night, 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:15 p.m. Pacific. So check that out. For those of you guys who are Survivor fans, I had a really great off-season podcast that I recorded with Jessica Leese, who I talk about The Amazing Race with during The Amazing Race season. She reviewed 48 different countries' version of Survivor to tell us about some twists that are working or not working that would be able to be, or what they would look like in terms of American Survivor. And we talked about that. That's up on robhasawebsite.com, and much, much more. So Thursday night is our next Big Brother podcast. And then on Friday, Alex and I are going to talk about what goes on the live feeds and bring you the answers that we get back from Becky. If we send our questions in, will all of them have some sort of a train pun, Alex?
No promises, Rob. No promises.
Okay. I'm seeing some hashtags in the chat room. Keith Dixon suggests evil leprechaun, but Taryn suggests blanket wizard. What do you say?
Real Rafe's choice there, Rob.
Certainly is.
I like the blanket wizard personally. I think that's classic.
There we go. All right. It was a Audrey and Clay show, so I guess we'll go with an Audrey hashtag. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for checking the show out. I did see here in the chat room a lot of people saying about how Rob's not taking my question. Make sure if you want to get your questions into the show, you got to get them on Twitter. Use the hashtag RHAP or post them on the YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. I can't always be responding to everybody that's in the chat room because I'm going to be talking to my guests, but I am trying to read as much stuff as I can during the show. So I just hope you guys know I am following along with the conversation, but my primary focus is talking to the guests that I'm talking to because that's what the show is all about. So thank you guys for coming on here. I always appreciate you guys joining us live. I hope you guys enjoy getting to chat with one another during the show, and we will be back Thursday night, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.